Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Gonna drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.
Gino spot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino shot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino spot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino's spot.
Gino spot!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, all the way to Port Elizabeth tonight. Gino spot, that's right. We are here and we are happening tonight. We've got an amazing show. We've had some a run of an awesome people, and it's not stopping because tonight we've got Joe Parker. Woo! I can't wait. And let me tell you, there's not only that, we are trying some new stuff tonight because we are heading into the history. You know, being old like we are here in the Eastern Cape. Hello, Kathy Marsh. Nice to see you. Looking forward to seeing Joe Parker. I bet you are. What about me? What about me, eh? Well, because I got my hair done, everything for you today. I went there to the hairdresser and he said to me, hello, Jackie. He says, was it you or your brother who died recently? I said to you, I can't remember who it was. You know, he said, would you like would you like it cut round the back? I said, no. I'll have it cut out the front here with everybody else. What you got going on behind there? You can't trust these guys here up in Warmer, you know. And I've got, I'll tell you what, we've got some Port Elizabeth history coming today as well, tonight as well. Amazing lady as well. She's in England now. She was coming back to do a little bit of a stint because I love the history. The history is the best part, you know. If you look at the Port Elizabeth history, what was here, what's been demolished, what's been happening, you know, over the years. There was the willow tree. I don't know who remembers the willow tree. I used to go there for a banana split. Hello, Cat. She's there. The cat's over there. She's going to make a little appearance later as well to say hello. The willow tree, you remember that place? You get ice creams, and the banana split was the best one. I went in there and I thought to myself, I'm going to the Wimpy now and I'm going to have a banana split for old time's sake, for Olos. Hello, Thelma Jean. Nice to have you here as well. So I said to the lady, can I please have a banana split? She said to me, crushed nuts? I said, no, arthritis. What is bloody rude? That's what you are. Yeah, no, I can't handle that sort of rubbish. I don't know. I battle to hear sometimes as well. Because I found this morning, I found a suppository in my left ear. Suppository. I don't know where my hearing aid is. I've still got to find it somewhere. I don't know where that's disappeared to. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gino's Spot tonight. We're going to introduce you with a little bit of a song. Thank you to our sponsors, Fitch Leedes. I hope you've got your drink ready. Let's give it a go. There. Cheers, everyone. Put cheers. All right, here we go. Fitch Leedes. It's astounding. Wendy Thompson. Hello, Jeff. Apple White. So Gail Rick. Clap twice. Not for very much longer, Kathy Marsh. And of course, Cat Anderson and James too. I remember Thelma Bardenhorst. And Lisa Anderson. Carol Jean Free. Good shoot, thank you, it's my pineapples. There you go. Let's do the time warp again. Wendy Rich Jackson. It's just a Julian Warman Hove. And then a step to the right. Lisa Anderson Hearn. Hello, mommy. Oh, he's in tight. Carol Jean Free. And then I did you insane. Let's do Tanya for sheer. Hello, Tanya. How's it there in Bushman's? Well, I was walking down the street just having a thing when a stick up a car give me a eagle wing. Took shook me up, it took me by surprise. He had a pickup truck and the devil's oh dear, here we go. Have a nice drink, everyone. Have a cheers. I want some cheers in the comments. There we go. Woo! Michelle Wilson Speedy. All right, all fantasy free. So you can't see me. No, not at all. In another direction. To voyeuristic intention. Here, how's it, Rod Johnson? Let's do the time warp again. Let's do Kathy Marsh again. Cheers. I was walking down the street just to having a thing when a stick of a guy gave me an evil wing. It shook me up, it took me by surprise. He had a pickup truck and carried a bride. Stared at me and I felt a change. Time and nothing ever would again. Cheers to you, Kathy Marsh. Cheers indeed, Berlin Warmerhofen. All right, Rod Johnson's here as well. It's nice to see you, buddy. Jose Pereira. Churned lemon and honey with a velvet crust that really drives you insane. Linda Trollops there too. Let's do the time warp again. All right. We're going back in time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a lovely evening tonight. Welcome to Gino's spot. We have Joe Parker. Indeed, we have Joe Parker. Ladies and gentlemen, but first of all, we are going to discuss, because today is the 1st of September, the 1st of spring. The 1st of spring, spring is sprung, and the grass is ridge, and the boydies are on the wing. 1st of September in 1968, exactly on this day. Hello, Dave Hazeldean, Dean from the DA. Nice to see you here as well. On this day in 1968, the heavens opened and the rain came down. Yes, indeed. Obviously, PE wasn't doing such good things, and our dear Lord decided to punish us by putting down some rain. And we had it was 40 millimeters in about 4 hours, I think, something ridiculous like that, and it swept away the whole swathes of Port Elizabeth. It was just a raging river, the entire town or city at that stage. And what I've done is I've been seeing these amazing pictures coming through today. So I've got a couple of pictures that I'm going to show you just now. But I've been in touch with Kat Anderson. Kat is over in England now. She's a PE stalwart, was brought up in Main Road Warmer. Just that, how wonderful it is in this town. You can. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows somebody from what they one position apart. How does that thing work? 7. I don't know. What is that story? All right. So Kat is now has moved overseas, obviously quite a long time ago. But she grew up in Warmer, and she is doing a site called the 60s, 70s, and 80s XPE 60s, 70s, 80s, and she's doing, they're posting all sorts of amazing pictures. So I'm going to call on Kat just to give you a little bit of an introduction and a little story about the floods in 1968. Let's check.
Hi there, from Brighton in England. My name's Kathy, and I used to live in Port Elizabeth a long time ago. We've been talking about the 1968 floods, which happened, which devastated the city. I was 16 at the time, and I remember going out in the morning, and my first sight was my grandpa's car floating in the garden of our house in Walmer. And then we realised that it was really bad. And so I think it was a Sunday morning, if I remember correctly. So there wasn't any work or school, but we took a walk all the way down to Target Kloof, which was quite close to me. And it was just horrendous. The roads were up. It just seemed like overnight the whole city was just devastated. But it wasn't, of course. It wasn't that bad, but it was for a lot of people who, were caught up in it, in the floods. The river, the Parkers River, was very, very furious, and flooding quite dramatically all the way down to, I think it was Albany Road, and that got badly hit by it, and all the way down to Humewood, where Happy Valley was not so happy that day. It was quite amazing. I mean, I didn't really realise it at the time. I think we were, at 16, 17, you're just sort of not really that sort of aware of things, because we didn't have television in those days, or even cell phones or anything like that to communicate. It sort of only really hit us a few days afterwards how bad it was. But anyway, you can look at all the pictures which I've put up on our Facebook page, XPE 60s, 70s and 80s. And yeah, nice to talk to you. Have a good day or good night. Bye.
Thank you, Kat. That was great. Thank you so much. I want to drop in people. To have somebody who was actually there is so much more valuable than just reading something in a newspaper or reading something on the website. And I'm gonna stick some pictures up here because she was talking about Albany Road. Let's have a look at Albany Road. There we go. Look at that bus. Look at that bus over there. That's halfway down Albany. I think that's just opposite Voltex. So that's what it did to that bus. Let's have another squeeze. This one I love because it's the bottom of this looked like bottom of Albany Road as well. Bottom of Russell Road going into the freeway. Or Albany Road. No, this is Albany Road, and it says here Murray Mansions. That's right. Okay, so this lady who was staying at Murray Mansions at the time, she said I counted 12 cars being washed down the road, and so she was just sitting on a balcony watching cars being washed out into the sea. I don't know. All right, so we got here a Brickmaker's Cliff. There's in the raging torrent. And you can imagine the water ripping up the road like that. In fact, and there's another one of Brickmakers here that you can see there. That hole's as big as a bus again. Seemed like there were lots of buses around. All right, then Mount Road, bottom of Mount Road. What I liked about this photo is, if you look carefully here, obviously this is right near Tavcor. If you're driving down Mount Road, you get going towards the traffic circle there. But there's a huge bloody building there, and that is the North End Power Station that you can see in the background there. That just doesn't exist anymore. That's was quite freaky. I thought that was an interesting photo, if not only because of that. Okay, this is the Palm Grove, which was also called the Willow Tree. The Willow Tree was actually at Happy Valley. It was like a little, I don't know if it was a hotel or it was an ice cream place that was on the corner. Beautiful building. And you can see, I've got one or two pictures of the Willow Tree there. The first one, that one, yes, there you can see where it's situated, because you can still see, if you look very closely, you can see the little hat, the tin hat there, which is still on the beachfront today. That is the little war memorial. And if you're looking out from Happy Valley, that is looking from the beach side towards Happy Valley. And that is the water coming over the bridge there at Happy Valley. And that was completely trashed by the time that flood had gone over. This is the bottom of Target Kloof, where there was actually a little filling stations. I think it was called Barnett's or something. It was a filling station over there. That doesn't exist anymore. I think it's round about where the Act Club is. And that's a big hole in the middle of Target Kloof. So, when you're riding down there and it's raining, just be careful, because that's what it looked like in 1968. All right, so there we go. And thank you very much to Kat Anderson. I love PE history, and I want to do a little bit on PE history. Maybe every Tuesday we'll try and fit something in. But we'll try and go to places where you've where the interesting places and interesting stories about stuff that perhaps is there still, perhaps it doesn't exist anymore. There's so many stories. So that's going to be a normal part of what we do. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, now there's something else that I have to do, and that is Livingston Hospital. On the last show we had, they were giving out packs to all the Be the Change people. We're giving out packs to all the nurses, and Andre Stradom, our bass player, has been in the COVID ward there. He works in the department at the COVID ward. He's there every single day, working his absolute butt off, and the staff there are working themselves to the bone. Now, the BBC did a documentary or a little clip on the Livingston Hospital, And they took the facts and they looked at it from one perspective, and that perspective was obviously to get the most news and to try and make it look as bad as possible. And they completely ignored the plight of the staff there. The guys, the staff that are going there every day, working themselves to the bone, and they are doing unbelievable things for the budgets that they've got and the amount of staff that are actually there. They're almost working on skeleton staffs at the hospitals, and they're just giving it everything they possibly can. Now we've got to motivate these guys. We can't be trashing them at everything just because the government hasn't done their part or whatever. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Those staff there are working themselves to the bone because they're saving lives. And they've done a song. They have done a song that we want to go. This is a story that deserves to be told. Is that the staff at the Livingston are doing their thing. They're doing amazing things. They are supermen and superwomen. They've written a little song. They sang it themselves. And I was privileged enough to play drums on it. We're gonna play it. Andre Stradom and the doc says it was actually it was launched today. So we are having I think probably the first program to play it, the first TV show to play it. TV. Here we go. Okay, hit it.
Through the corridors of home, preparing for the day and how to cope, giving our best to stop suffering, helping our patients who are struggling, doing everything we can to keep the hope.
We gave the cross that all our lives support. Time for us to brace and give the fort. Aiming to save every life. In the living room there is a wife with the family on its knees, the battle's fought. We're not Superman, we're just doing it with love. Even though we're few, we're asking you to take care of yourself.
Supergirls, what we do with love. We're here to treat you, letting your grace from above. Trying hard to make a mother smile, being more than just an
nights as an offering, not knowing what the day will bring. South Africa, please listen for a while. We're not Superman, we're just doing it with love. Even though we're few, we're asking you to take care of yourself.
We're not Supergirls, what we do with love. Treat you, doing the grace from above.
Asking you to take care of yourself.
We're not Supergirls, what we do with love. We're here to treat you, getting the grace from
All right, that was, and of course, in memory of Dr. Pepetto, who's had such a huge impact on this whole area. So I mean, it's a feel-good story, you know. So please take the video. It's on my website as well. I posted a thing today as well. But share it everywhere, because the BBC thing went viral. We want that to go viral too, because that deserves it much more. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, hello Jeff and Kathy Marsh, lovely to have you there. And we're gonna get on with our special guest tonight, because our guest is well loved by PE peeps. The PE people have always loved Joe Parker. He's been part of the tapestry of PE for many years, and we've got him live tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So bring him on. Mr.
We do
Joe
things at
Parker.
home which we believe are fairly private, like you buy a TV, have a fight with your girlfriend or your wife, redecorate your home. It takes about 2-3 days before the whole neighborhood knows your business. Right? We often wonder, how do our neighbors find out? Well, it's actually quite simple. Your domestic executive and or your agricultural assistant, right? Now what they do, they speak to the people in the neighborhood, who then speak to the people they work for, and that's how the grapevine works. So a few years ago, wallpapered my lounge. Week after it happened, there's a knock at the door. Get up, go to the door, open the door, standing outside there, my Japanese neighbor, Mr. Wong. It's not his real name, that's a Chinese name. His name's a hell of a lot fucking Wonger than that, I must tell you that, right? Never ask a Jap what his name is, because he's going to fucking tell you, isn't he? Yeah. Then you're going to try and remember this. So anyway, there he is standing. Mr. Wong said, "Oh, Mr. Parker." Oh. I said, "Can I help you?" "Oh, Mr. Parker. Last week, you wallpaper your lounge." So I said, "Well, what about it?" "Oh, Mr. Parker, my lounge was same size as your lounge." So I said, "So?" "Oh, Mr. Parker, I want a wallpaper on my lounge. How many rolls of a wallpaper do you buy?" I said, "Well, I bought 15. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you very much. Anyway, say thank yous off. But a week later, sitting there, knock at the door. Get up, go to the door, open the door, and standing outside there's Mr. Wong, but I can tell by the body language, it's like there's a voice say, it's Mr. Wong. Mr. Parker, last week I come your house. He said, "I remember that." "I ask you, how many rolls of a wallpaper you buy the wallpaper your house?" So I remember that as well. "Mr. Parker, you told me you buy 15 rolls of a wallpaper." I said, "So?" "Oh, Mr. Parker, I got 10 rolls over." I said, "What's over?"
Oh, Joe Parker, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Lovely to have you here,
Yeah,
man.
thanks, man.
I see my producer was supposed to blank out some of the bleeps, but it's fine. We just go.
Yeah, they're not new words. They've been words
No, they're
around
not new.
forever and a day.
Indeed, I see you've got a bit hairier during lockdown.
A little bit hairier here, but as you can see from the clip, I've got a lot less up here.
Yes.
That was actually, by the way, that clip was filmed at Grey Club in Port Elizabeth in 2005.
Oh my word, Old Grey.
Yeah, there you go.
Opposite the politiestasie daar.
Ja,
Die
that's the
Fransie
one.
daar. Oh, so even here. Oh, fantastic. And so, I mean, you've been to PE many times, though. Now, you were telling me earlier that your first ever gig was in PE, in fact.
Very first gig was at the Markham Hotel in Military Road. And it used to have the Mark Supper Club. And then on the first floor was a place called Drink a Drink. And it was a bar where you just played music, spoke a bit of crap, and sang a few songs, yeah. December 1971.
Whoa! I was 1 year old, Joe.
Yeah,
I was
there you go.
born in 1970. 50
Wow.
this year, so that's 49 years ago.
Fantastic. I didn't see you there.
No, I was
surprised.
I was just Oh man! And Joe, so I mean, the way you were talking about it now, I mean, actually, comedy. When you started comedy like that, I mean, did you go straight into stand up, or were you playing music first? I mean, I know you were playing in a band as well at one stage.
Yeah. No, I started off as a singer who told a few jokes, and then it kind of flipped around. And then, but I did eventually, while I was still on the pub circuit, we had a big 5-piece band, so we used to do covers, and then I used to do the comedy in between.
Okay. And it's good because I mean I sort of come from the same side in that I was doing music first, so I'm very interested to hear that. So I mean it's basically just cockbright in between the songs, isn't it? It gets longer and
that's
longer.
right. And of course, in those days, we were like in ladies' bars. So if they weren't listening to my jokes, then I'd just sing a song. So I had a bit of a fallback option there.
That's always nice to have if you're a comedian. Especially
Yes.
if they're rowdy, you know.
Yeah,
Especially
and
if you
also sometimes they don't find you funny. You know, so
Yeah.
what do you do then?
get the songs, get the music out,
Yeah.
out. And I see that first time I saw Joe Parker was in London, London Town Pub in Sea Point,
Yeah,
1980.
I helped Carol there. London Town Pub opened in November 1980, and we were there often. November 80, 81, there again, 82, 83, 84. Yeah, they were great days.
Sea Point, it must have been a hub there.
Oh, so that was in fact, I mean, we used to get 500 people a night, 6 nights a week at the London Town Pub. And
is
I think you
unbelievable.
got in free Monday to Thursday, and then you paid £5 on Friday and Saturday.
five rand.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, incredible that it didn't matter if they didn't pay because they were drinking so much at 500 people. Your bar's gonna turn over like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, and then there was no problem about getting home. I mean, if you got caught drunk driving, the cops would, drive you home and they'd drive your car home. So it was all very different times, eh?
I see Gary Joyce saying hello. How's it, Gary?
Gary, how you, boy?
Yeah, I think originally a Utenade boykie. Lillies Bar was the place was over here as well. Was that one of your hunting grounds? I know that.
Yes.
I was a bit young. I was a bit young for it, but I knew about it.
We were there in 82. So you'd have been about 12, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
82. And we were there. We did a 6-month stint there, and it's awesome. We came in after Ricky and the Spitfires, so some of the people might remember them.
Baldy.
Was just there we go. Yeah, great. It's some great entertainment around in those days. Oh, really good.
Absolutely, yeah. I know Ricky and the Spitfires were there, and I know Baldy well because I played with him a few times as well. Roger Grant.
Yeah, we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure the other two guys in the band, but I think it was a 3-piece. Is that right?
Might have been a 4-piece.
As a 4-piece.
Okay. I could be wrong.
There we go. They used to belt it out. I know that. I started going there when it was Mellow and Jive. Did you ever go at that time?
Yeah, I do remember Mellow and Jive. In fact,
Derek Gordon.
which morphed. That's right. They morphed into that Mellow and Jive. Then they became something else, I think. Because Derek and I worked together for quite a long time in Durban and Pretoria and Johannesburg, and we had a comedy club in Sea Point Greenpoint in 2001. So Derek and I go back quite a way.
Okay. Gary's saying you guys were at La Mafia.
I did some one-nighters at some interesting places in Port Elizabeth after the Lillies days. Yeah, so I went back a few times. Cadillac Jacks, we did Hellenic Hall. Quite a few different places.
Yes, the Cadillac Jacks was a big new thing at the time. Oh, the beachfront, the dancing waitresses on the table and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And, I see Rod Johnson here, also a muso, remembering you at Lillies.
They were good days. We were at Lillies 6 months in 82, came back in beginning of 1984. And then I went back a couple of times to do one-nighters, the odd Sunday night, Danny Fisher.
Danny!
Remember Danny?
Danny Fisher, of course I remember Danny.
Yeah.
The greatest entertainer in the world.
There you go. Yeah, lovely man.
Absolutely. Well, we've had some good gigs with Danny as well. I mean, Lillies, 6 months at Lillies.
Yeah, we did. We used to work 6 nights a week.
Jeez.
I pity I didn't. I've got some photos I could have sent you, but I mean, we used to do did the stage up. We used to put polystyrene background with the name of the band. We had a change room at the back of that small stage. And we packed them in, people, it was just wonderful times we had in Port Elizabeth. But those days, I think there was the Lillies. There was also a place at the Elizabeth Hotel underneath there. I can't remember what they called it. It could be Bar Bonanza.
Bar Bonanza.
Bar Bonanza. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's the ones. Okay. Oh, gee whiz, man. And yeah, I remember at that time, and Lillies was super popular. I remember the queues outside there.
That's right. There we go.
Midnight Flyers, he was saying the Ricky and the Spitfires.
Yeah.
And Wilderness Holiday Inn, was that another one of your haunts?
Well, we didn't do, I certainly didn't do long stints there, but two of the guys who worked in the band with me, I think they were both from Port Elizabeth, actually. Vince Lewis and Mike Prignolato formed a duo eventually.
Vince.
They worked at the Wilderness Hotel, the Wilderness Holiday Inn, yeah.
My word. I bumped into Vince like literally probably 2 months before COVID down in Cape Town playing in a band.
Okay.
Great band.
Oh, great. Great guys.
Here's a comment for you here, Joe. It says, Wendy's saying, love the horse song joke. Can't think of the name.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
There you go. Yeah.
I remember you used to do that stuff with all the, because you were really good with the mic, and you used your the delays and your
A little bit
reverbs.
of delay. And then also there was a couple of allusions in the song. When I say that, is that if to watch a horse gallop past, if all you had to do was make it go soft, and then it created this impression in people's minds that a horse had actually ghosted through the venue. So we had a lot of fun. Those were good days.
You were the first one to do 3D placement of sound with stereo.
But it wasn't actually 3D. It was just a bit of a visual thing, yeah.
Absolutely. And I know Barry Hilton, of course, does similar things as well. He's so good with a mic, and that was one of your skills, was definitely
Great. Another great entertainer. Barry's really superb legend.
Lovely guy, and always so generous as well, always giving. But you're the same, Joe. You're the same. Whenever I've met you, it's always been encouraging and good to talk to you. I think for comedy, you need that as a comedian as well.
Yeah, well, I think that when you talk about people who get involved in show business, generally they are quite needy and want attention and all that. And I worked it out a long time ago. But being one of those people myself, I have this real empathy for people who do what we do. So I mean, for me, it's very, very easy. It's been easy to because I work with a lot of the comedians, the new young comedians. Or I should say, I'm not working with them at the moment, but I mean, our comedy club in Joburg, yeah. So I just find it very easy because I mean, one's got to be generous in life, and I think that's part of being a mensch.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell me about the Comedy Express. That was your thing as well. Are you dealing with other comedians?
Yeah,
and sort of
what we did, before we opened the comedy club, we used to put shows together of 3 or 4 comedians and send them out to venues. And because it was almost like a traveling show, it wasn't always the same guys. There were different guys every time. We came up with the name Comedy Express. And we used to work all over, Gauteng. We used to do tours down to Cape Town, down to KZN. Yeah, that was one way of showcasing what was then kind of new talent that was coming through.
But I mean, you must have been killing the gigs then, because I mean, if you're getting that amount of interest in your, did you form it then that as a brand? There was a specific brand that you were using.
Yes, it was a brand, and then of course people used to. We ran comedy at Carnival City, which is another casino in Gauteng, for about 12 years, and then people used to come and see the shows there, and then they'd say, "Can you bring this show to Newcastle, or can you bring it to Ladysmith, or Pietermaritzburg?" And then that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing that you can build that sort of business out of just from the gigs and word of mouth. That's pretty much your thing.
Yeah, because there was no. I mean, in the early days you don't have the social media that you've got today. So really, it was built on word of mouth, mainly word of mouth, and people had to have seen what you're doing to actually take it somewhere and then invite you and sell tickets, and that's how we became, the brand became established.
Some of the comedians that you were working with then?
Oh, sure.
Can you remember?
I mean, to give you an idea, I mean, Trevor Noah did his first open mic with us at Carnival City in 2004. And then when I say an open mic, you got 5 to 7 minutes on stage, and you didn't get paid. And he did that not for very long. I mean, he was very, very good. I mean, it didn't take him long. I would say, even though when he worked with us all those years ago, if you'd said to me, what do you think's going to happen to Trevor Noah? I'd just say he was going to become a top comedian. I don't think anybody saw him getting on television in America. But, all credit to the guy. He's incredibly talented.
Amazing, they're amazing, and to think in that sort of way, to catapult yourself, into that sort of zone is a total mind shift. It's like jumping off a huge diving board.
He's got absolute talent. He's very, very talented. But to add to that talent, he didn't just sit back and wait for the world to come to him.
Yes.
He actually got on a plane and went to America and started working in the clubs, became very friendly with Eddie Izzard, who was very, very instrumental in getting him onto Jay Leno and David Letterman. But he's also, which I think a lot of people don't know, is that he got a 5-star review at the Edinburgh Festival, which is really difficult because, as I say, the competition is ridiculous. Plus, he got nominated for a Barry Award at the Melbourne Festival, and this was before he did the Daily Show. So from that perspective, there's no doubting the guy has the ability, and I think he just got the right break. He's hardworking, committed, dedicated, and good. All credit to him. He's done the hard work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just having a look at because it was Montecasino that your comedy club was started. When about did you start that?
Okay, that opened, and by the way, this is my 4th comedy club, and COVID closed that one. Had to close the other 3. However, we started that December 2008, and so we were actually, it's grown and grown and grown. Comedy Central came and filmed there for 5 years. It helped us a lot to get the brand out there in the public, and and a lot of comedians who had become established in the circuit in Gauteng or Joburg now became well known right throughout South Africa, and I think right throughout the rest of Africa. So. It's been quite an interesting journey. So who knows what will happen after the end of COVID?
Yeah, absolutely. So those guys. I mean, I think Chris Forrest was one of them. I know.
Chris, Chris started. We ran a comedy night at Hurricanes in the Four Ways Mall, and started in beginning of March 1999. And a lot of the guys that are around today, Chris Forrest, Martin Jonas. They started with us. Darren Moore was part of a duo called they used to do like a
umbilical brothers,
similar to the Umbilical Brothers, and then he went on his own, and then Brendan went to live in the UK. And now, as you know, Darren is the morning show host on East Coast Radio, so he's done really well.
East Coast Radio.
Yep.
I mean, these guys always go, and as a comedian, I think once you've done comedy on stage, nothing scares you anymore. You can do anything. Take off all your clothes, walk around, it's fun because it's nothing.
No, it thickens your skin, and as I say, it's not easy to do if it's something that you want to do but don't have the talent. And a lot of guys think they can do it because they're funny around the bra. You get on stage when it's no longer your mates, and it becomes a terrifying experience for people.
You're absolutely right. And anyone? I mean, have you done international stuff? Have you gone overseas?
I've worked. I've done expat work in the UK quite a lot. Plus, I did the Melbourne International Comedy Festival in 1998. But I mean, I've been pretty much all over the world into clubs, and been to watch stand-up comedy and. In the clubs, because I mean that's where it's your hardcore journeyman comedians who are incredibly funny, and it's only the big time is only reserved for a few because of the there's so many guys, there are so many good comedians, really are.
I see 1986 Mill Park. What was that? Mill Park Holiday Inn.
Yeah, that's right. It was called.
Where's
Then I
that?
think it might have been that was '86 Mill Park Holiday. I think it was called. It was called Comics at one time. And
Joburg.
yeah, I did. Yeah, that's right. Crest Hotel. Sure,
Okay.
that's going back.
Crest Hotel. There we go.
Crest
Yes.
Hotel was 1977. Yep.
My
Hotel
ding-a-ling.
there we go. And Debbie, I see you've asking about Durban in 1977. They would have been
Yeah.
either the Cumberland Hotel or the Lonsdale Hotel. And
Yes.
so I hope that answers your question.
There's Brett Hilliard. He was involved in the casinos as well. He was
yes,
at the Boardwalk here and a
Yes,
couple. I
yes,
think
I
all over
remember.
the place. Let's see,
Yeah.
casino gigs. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brett's a good guy. How's it, Brett? And Kathy, she's saying hello. See, the girls are after him already. You see that?
Yeah. I see my daughter Nikki from Durban is watching as well, and I think my
Oh,
daughters
excellent.
in the UK, Haley and Sasha, are watching somewhere
Tell
there.
us about your children. I wanted to get onto that, but you preempted me here. So
Yeah.
it's fine. You go. Tell us about your kids, because I believe Gary tells me that they do interesting stuff themselves.
Yeah, I've got a daughter in Durban. Her name's Nikki, who's watching here. She's my eldest. My second eldest lives in Paris, in France, and I've got 3 grandchildren there. And she danced all over the world in these these big shows, yeah. And has been living in Paris now for about 20 years. My third child is my daughter Sasha, lives in London. She's married with 2 kids, and then my fourth kid was my son Jono, who's in Bavaria, in Munich at the moment, but lives and
München.
shares a place with my youngest daughter Haley in a place called Burford in the Cotswolds in the UK. So all my kids,
Cotswolds.
save for Nikki, are overseas now.
Oh wow! So Nicky's here. He's here. He's
she's
going to
in
be
Durban.
here to change your nappies, Joe.
Yeah, yeah.
Nicky, if you're online, ask Joe a question that's going to embarrass him. We'll take it. International influences, or local influences, people that have shaped your thing. I mean, I know. Were you even involved in Biltong and Pot Roast as well?
No, funny enough, I was around at that time, and they wouldn't. Unfortunately, I didn't make Biltong and Pot Roast. In fact, the only one of those guys who's still working is Mel Miller.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, so I see him occasionally. He works at the club.
Oh, and
when
Eddie,
it's open.
Eddie was. I've had
Eddie
Eddie on.
Oh, sorry, yes, Eddie as well. Sorry, forgot about Eddie.
Eddie was on 2 weeks ago, I think, or a week ago. He was. What a fantastic guy, Eddie. I just absolutely love him.
No, lovely human being. Lovely human being.
And the fact that he's a drummer is just a bonus, because I'm a drummer as well. You see, so
There you go. Yeah.
drummer, comedian. That's the right combination. You know, Joe, you should have played drums, man.
How you reckon?
It says Nikki saying not tonight. She's just sending loves to you tonight. Oh,
Yeah.
you're
There
too
you go.
easy on
That's
him, Nikki. You're too easy on him.
No, she's a smart girl.
Oh no, but so influences. Yeah, I was going on to the influences that you.
I was influenced quite a lot by the comedians, and there was a show called The Comedians in the UK in the 70s. Billy Connolly, definitely. I went overseas during the 80s to go and see how the comedy had changed over there. Ben Elton, I loved Eddie Izzard. And then, of course, Bill Hicks. That was a shock to people at the time. But, I don't know how it works with you, but your favorites change from time to time because, there's so many different people who are really, really talented, is that you respect them all, but you have a kind of an affinity with some at certain times. I mean, if you go on a YouTube now, there's just so many talented guys out there. So I really respect them because, as I say, especially in America and the UK, the competition is so great that the club comedians are really, really just never go into like the Comedy Store in London. I mean, you'll never go and see a bad act there. It's just, you won't.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been listening to Bill Burr at the moment as well. He's just
fantastic. Love him. He's so irreverent. I love the man.
He is.
Yeah.
He just shouts. I love his shouts off the mic. You know.
Yeah.
And when his little, he's done this podcast, and his little daughter comes in every now and then. He's like all well behaved, and then his daughter goes
Yeah.
out. Just,
Yeah.
He goes again.
Yeah.
And
No, he's great.
current comedians, guys in South Africa that you enjoy.
Okay, Skalk Besaidenout, brilliant.
Oh.
Natural,
Skalk is
you've
amazing.
obviously seen him.
Yes.
Glenn Beedham Pam, love him.
Oh, Glenn is. I got to know when I was down in Cape Town. Amazing,
Okay.
amazing guy as well. Hey,
Very, very talented.
and good actor as well. I find he's not only good with comedy, but he's good at acting. Like he was.
Yeah, I
been
know.
on
That's
TV.
quite a few of the guys have actually come through drama school. So
Yeah.
that's their background. But I mean, they're really talented guys. Just some of their names slip my mind at the moment. But I mean, Joey Rasdeen, the Goliaths.
Yes, of course.
I mean,
Mark Lottery
really,
is still going strong as well, of course.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. But Mark, I don't know what he does in Cape Town. I think he occasionally works at the Cape Town Comedy Club, but we've never had him at the club in Joburg yet.
Oh, okay.
But Riyad Musa, I mean,
Yes.
there's some really,
Nick
really good
Rabinovitz.
guys. Nick Rabinovitz. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's lots of talent in this country. Lots and lots of talent.
Absolutely. And Chris Forrest still doing his thing, eh?
Yeah, Chris is still doing his thing. I think he's actually got a quiz show on Facebook every
Yes.
Tuesday and
Yes,
Friday,
I've
I
seen
think,
that.
or Saturday. Yeah. Yeah.
I see Rod Walker from Sun International there. How's it, Rod?
Yeah.
He's saying first time see you since March.
Well, actually, I don't have to wait till Christmas, right? Because Kentucky Fried Chicken have asked me to jump up onto their signs. Colonel Sanders.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, right. With the beard. All right. So you're not into sports at all? Sporting teams?
Love
anything
it.
Like that?
I'm a Manchester United fan and a Sharks fan. And
yeah.
so I don't really mind what people think about that. That's me. That's me too. Somebody is asking for my most memorable moment
Yes,
in my
yes,
career.
I see.
Well,
Michelle.
I hope I haven't had it yet. But I've had a few. I've had a few things happen. I mean, just to give you a quick. I mean, I've had a lot of run-ins with the press. One of the run-ins which gave me a lot of satisfaction is that I did a theatre tour in 1990, and the show was called The White Stuff, which is a play on the movie title, and people took exception to that, and for me, I'm a comedian, I'm not a politician, but the press went for me in Cape Town. They really went for me, and I was working at the Studio Theatre under the Baxter. In the basement, it was like a supper club, 120 seats. And what happened was the press they crucified me, and I got a call the following, because I was doing 3 weeks, and it sold out before I got there. Call on the Tuesday, and the theatre director, a guy called John Sleman, phoned me, and he said, "Have you seen the newspapers?" And I said, "Ooh, yes, I did." He said, "Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to move the show." And of course, I was thinking, "Oh no, this is good. This is like just the lowest point of my career."
Terrible,
So
yes.
I said, "What do you mean?" So he said, "No, we're moving you into the concert hall." So seriously, I mean, it was just astonishing. So, it went from 120 seats, which we moved upstairs into a 660 seater. For the last week, we did 6 shows that week, and on the Friday night, it was like just one of those, it seemed like 5 minutes, but it was probably about 3 or 4 minutes of standing ovation. It was just like a moment yeah. So there's that, which is memorable, and then of course I got thrown off stage in London in 1991 in front of 3,000 people because I used a term that they objected to. Which I'm a comedian, I should be able to say, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. But anyway, it's and that was also the press delight, because it was a year after I'd been at the Baxter, and of course the Cape newspapers loved that. But
so no
you know what?
stranger to controversy.
No, not at all. Did Grahamstown a few times. We had lots of fun at Grahamstown. So to be honest with you, I think that I've had a most enjoyable time. I've done pretty much everything I want to do in comedy. And the comedy club is the last thing. So I do the odd show now and again. As I was down in Port Elizabeth, I think about 2 years ago. And
Yes.
I do the odd one-nighter.
Remo's, was it Gary's saying that
Gary,
it
yeah,
was,
it was with
last
Gary,
year.
yeah.
It was
Was it
last
last
year, I
year?
think. Yes,
Jeez,
yes.
yeah, time flies. Eh?
Time flies, when you're getting old, Joe.
Yeah.
I see the whatever happened to Trevor Sturgis you brought to PE.
Yeah, Trevor's is an estate agent in Joburg now, and he's
Oh.
done really well. So, and he doesn't do
Okay.
stand up anymore. No, unfortunately.
Oh, he doesn't.
No.
Gary's a fan. Eh? Gary's telling me here that he's ridiculously funny.
No, he's yeah. By the way, I mean, there's a lot of comedians that are ridiculously funny, are also not PC. I'm one of them. I'm not one
Yeah.
of those. I'm not one of those people that actually has any. I just give it short shrift. You know, if I personally
Yeah.
you get on stage, if it's funny, you laugh. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of times people say that, okay, it's offensive. But, you know, the truth is, offense is never given, it's always taken. So, you know, as a comedian will know if you're not saying that or not doing the right thing, the audience will let you know. It's always the oddball, lefty, PC person that will tell you, oh, you can't say that. And you just say, well, I just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a fine line that us comedians tread, you know, because you're right. It's like what's funny, what's offensive, what's cultural appropriation, not it's all.
It's too bad. It's just too bad. I'm too old to worry about that. By the way, I see Carol's asked. I used to get jokes requested. You know, they'd say, "Will you tell the joke where the guy does this, that, and at the end he says that?" So they'd actually tell you the joke and say, "Will you tell us a joke on stage?" You know, that's how it was. But for Carol, I used to
They
do
know
a
the
thing
joke
about,
already.
Yeah, they do. They want to hear you tell it again.
Yeah.
But I used to do a thing about a guy coming home late, which I stopped doing quite a long time ago because the kind of nature of comedy's changed a bit. But I used to get a request for that just about every night. I used to enjoy doing that because you could milk the moment. You could just about hear a pin drop when you were doing it. It was a lot of fun. You know, I just like to be with people who think like me, who are, you know, unconditional, who don't get offended and understand that it's comedy. It's just about laughing. And
Well, I think it's also about, like you said, the journey in the joke. You know, that's what the people want to hear. I think that's they want to
that's
hear
it,
that story, those little sections of the joke that weren't necessarily part of the punchline. You know.
There you go. And then, of course, over time, because remember now, we used to work back when I was still on the circuit, we'd work 6 nights a week, 4 hours a night in the same venue for 3 months minimum.
Did you have the same material, or did you
Well,
change it up?
to start with, and then of course, as time went by, you know, your repertoire grew and grew and grew. But what would happen is that, you know, you'd be doing stuff, and then something would happen in the audience, and you'd play off that. You'd have a little bit of repartee, and that would develop into a routine. So if I estimate I must have had about 7 or 8 hours worth of material that I could stand and do. I mean, the longest show I ever did when I was still working by myself, I went on stage at 9, first break at about 1:30, and then went back at about 10 to 2, and then finished at 3:30. But it was just, you know, it was just, that was how it was. There, I see Linda mentioned the army joke. Yeah,
The army
back
joke,
in the day.
yes.
You know,
What is that?
everyone had to do national service. So I had
did
a
you go to
routine
the army?
about, I went, yeah. So all I did was I took my story in the army and I turned it into a long routine. And people just loved it because guys would come back from army on weekend camps, come flying in there and request it, and they'd sit there and nudge their mates and say, listen to this, you know. And it was just a big send-up of what national service was all about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you got any of those old shows recorded? I mean, have you?
Yeah, I've got
you
them.
got-
I mean, I've got it all on CD, and we've got some. In
DVD.
fact, I've got a couple of DVDs of some of the younger or the new comedians, which were filmed back in 2000, 2001. So
Oh, wow, okay.
yeah, so
I
you
see.
know, people
Lots
want
of
to have a
acts
look
like
at
in
that.
the army joke. I see.
Yeah, no, the army joke is on a CD. But the thing about those jokes is that it's one thing listening to them. It's nice because there's a live audience, but you had
Yes.
to actually be there because
Yes.
you know, you had to slow it down if the audience was getting it and laughing at bits about
Yes.
everything, or speed it up, you know. So an live
Yeah.
audience just made it so much better.
Yeah, there's Tanya saying the memories are flooding back. Late husband loved your shows. He was Sundome pre-Monty. Sundome.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. In fact, I think Darren Maul used to run a comedy night there when we were still doing Hurricanes. Yeah, remember that was before Monty, I think, opened in 2000, and the Sundome was Monty's casino before they opened up.
Yeah. No, yeah. One thing that's thing, but with this COVID thing is going back into the comedy scene afterwards. If there's going to be masks and things, I can't imagine doing comedy with a whole bunch of people with masks on. It's going to be
I don't
that
think
interaction.
that's going to. No, I know what will happen, and I think you've seen that with the restaurants, is that people go to restaurants once they're inside and they sit at tables, they can take their masks off. So I'm not too concerned about that. In fact, my mate Rod Walker, who's watching this, has got a restaurant in Irene called the Karoo. And he is somebody put there as a giant in the entertainment industry, absolutely.
Yes.
But he said that, of course, his example, he said that it's actually made us feel a lot better because people are coming out again. They're still going to restaurants, and because they can drink now, that they're still having a few drinks. We can't open because of the curfew. So, you've got to be home by 10 o'clock, and it's just not profitable yet.
Yes, of course. And 50 people, I mean, it's difficult for somebody to make a profit out of that. Thanks for the hilarious. Mary, I love your Father Christmas look, she's saying.
Well, maybe if we're not open by Christmas, that's what I'll be doing.
You can bring us all around some
departmental
presents.
store, yeah, with a red outfit on and not having to put that silly beard on. I've got it already.
No, Joe. I mean, obviously, your comedy club, your business, everything is at the moment. You've got to buckle down and just sit it out, hibernate. Are you ready to go out again? Have you got any plans?
Well, I think the next, I suppose you could call it, important date will be the 15th of September. Yeah. Because I think that's when this kind of lockdown, as it was extended until. So we're hoping that we would probably be able to open our doors with limited trading if they move the curfew out to, let's say, midnight, because we can run a full show and then people got time to get home. So that's going to be the time we would consider reopening. So it's not 50 people for us. All we've got to do is make sure that there's social distancing. So in our venue, we could probably get 100 people, or maybe 120, which we've normally got 280. But let's see what we can do.
Yeah, we just got to hope. I see Paul Connigan say the first time I saw you was at the Longsdale Hotel around the pool.
Yep. Good
Where's
days.
the Longsdale Hotel?
That's in West Street, Durban.
Durbs.
I worked at, they were awesome days. I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, we had 2 shows on a Sunday, then it was Tuesday to Sunday. Oh, no, it was just fantastic.
So do you write material for other comedians or could do collaborations? She's asking.
No. The best I do with other comedians, I find them work and organize shows. So that's the best I do with other comedians. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find there's a lot of competition with the guys?
Yeah, some of the guys, I suppose it's the same everywhere. There are guys who really upwardly mobile in terms of their ability, and every time they come back, they've got something new. There's a lot of journeyman guys who just come back with the same show all the time. But you know what? That's how it is. The people that come to the club want to have a good night out. We've always got a variety of comedy on, and that's we've run it pretty much the same as we do all over the world.
Yeah. I see Jeff saying the show's in Kimberley. Did you?
Yeah. That was funny enough, at the Kimberley Sun one Sunday evening. I did an evening there I think it was Round Table.
Yes.
And I did a couple of other pubs and things in Kimberley, but the one at the Kimberley Sun stands out.
Well, I'm sure the Round Table must have been well behaved.
Not at all. No, no. They could drink, boy. They could outdrink us. No. And that's saying something.
It's the younger version of Rotary. So
Yeah.
there's no tomorrow with those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I did the Rhodes Club in Kimberley. It's a bigger city than I
okay.
thought.
Yeah, no, it's just really strange place. I mean, like if you went through there during the daytime, you'd think it was, sort of a Midwestern city in the United States, or town in the United States. But boy, when they come out to Joel,
Yeah.
go
Go for it.
Yep.
Oh man. But Joe, thank you, man. It's been amazing having you on, and I know that a lot of the you still got a whole pile of fans in PE here.
Yeah,
So
no,
we hope to see you here again.
Yeah, they were brilliant. I mean, they were so supportive. And whenever I was down there and I did stuff, with Mike Van Furen, who lives in Port Elizabeth, did Old Grey. We did Atlantic Hall, I think I did with him. But it's they've been very good to me.
Okay, Gary says no, that was me.
Gary was the Hellenic Hall. Sorry, Gary.
Yes.
Please forgive me.
He's claiming that one. He's claiming it.
We also did what is it called? A dock theatre? Or what was it?
Dockside Debbie's. Dockside Debbie's.
Debbie's, yeah. I don't know. Is Debbie still
Harbour
alive?
Sports Cafe. Yes.
That's right.
that chap there that was, was it Eugene, I think, used to run the place as well. Yeah. Gary's got a question. Okay. Hang on. He's gonna put his mic on. He never does this.
Mark Banks described the Harbour Sports Cafe and Dockside Debbie's as a place that prostitutes go to have a nervous breakdown.
Oh no!
Good venues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, okay. Well, to leave us, I always ask about the worst gig ever, and not necessarily I know you've told us about being chucked off the stage, but I'm talking about something perhaps that goes wrong that's not to do with your comedy or not. Your worst gig.
There's quite a few, but I remember going down to Klerksdorp. And the guys had taken me, to Klerksdorp, and they put me in a disco that was L-shaped. But if you understand an L-shaped room where the bootleg is short and the L part is really long, and they put me at the toe end of the L, and on a stage, and they didn't have proper spotlight, but they had disco lights. So
nice.
Every time I spoke, depending on the pitch of my voice, a different color light would come on. So I'd be talking and the lights would come on, and most of the people couldn't see me. So that was horrible.
Yeah, you're just dead in the water. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and then this is, the worst death of all time was the concert in the park. The first one was in 1985. Then in 1986 they did it again, but they charged I think $5 a head. So I was asked to do little links between bands, so to get up there and do 5 minutes of comedy. And I took it seriously. I've since learned that comedy is not a stadium thing. Got up there 5 minutes into my set with a band tuning up behind me and noise. I used to do a little sketch dressed as a guy with a safari suit. And I had a little Christmas for him.
I've got one of those. I've got one.
Yeah. And his name was Cyril Kleingeld. So this was a multiracial audience. Completely multiracial. And within a minute, cans and burgers and everything got thrown. Because I almost looked like this Afrikaans guy that they all hated.
This guy got this hat that I wear here.
Yeah. There you go.
From last week. Oh, say, yes, hello.
There you go. Very similar to that. Now, with a safari suit on,
with
you
a
look very similar.
You have a feather. You have to have
there
a feather.
You go. And you have to have a comb in your sock as well.
Yeah, die comb in die broek. Ja, I'll say.
There we go.
I've got it here. Dis my comb. Yes,
yeah. Anyway, so it didn't work. That didn't work, and it was horrible.
That must have been one of the biggest gigs you've done, though. I mean, that's a lot of people there.
Oh no, that was big. That was big. So it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. But
those size audiences are just crazy to try and do
and
comedy
it doesn't work.
Especially if they're waiting for the band to come on.
Exactly.
I compare it to when you've got to go out between the bands. It's like that introduction to Saving Private Ryan, where you've got
There
the
you go.
landing craft and the gate's up, but you can hear the bullets hitting the gate as you're coming in. And
Well
sure enough,
described.
It opens up and you just
There you go.
oh, you buggered. Oh, but thank you, Joe. It's been amazing having you on. It's
Pleasure.
legend of SA comedy. Thank you so much for giving us part of your time, man.
Thank you, and thanks for inviting me. It's really nice to connect with our PE friends again.
Absolutely.
Really, had so many good memories.
Oh, good. Well, thank you, Joe. You can go and have your supper now.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Thanks
take
for
care,
coming
and
on the
thanks
show.
for inviting me. Thanks,
Pleasure,
thanks
man.
to Gary too. Eh? Thanks. eh?
Yeah, no problem. He's having a good luck here. Ciao, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks, eh? Ciao.
Cheers. Oh, Joe Parker. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. Now we've just got one more thing to do, and that is to want to thank our sponsors, Fitch and Leedes. Whoa! And also Amobia for the internet. Thank you so much to our sponsors supporting us all the way through. Rod Walker, thank you very much. And right, we've got one more thing to do, and that is to give away a case of Fitch and Leedes. And we do that to the person who can guess the song and the band of the song that I am about to play on the drums. So we're going to move to the drum cam, which is around about here somewhere. All right. Have we got it? Yes, sirree. We got 2 drum cams tonight. We got one over there and then one over here. Check it out. All right. So I want the name of the song and the name of the artist in the comments. And the first one to give me that will win a case of Fitch and Leedes. We'll get you in the send a message, private message to you, and get your address and phone number, and we can get it to you as soon as possible. Thank you for joining us on Gino's Spot tonight. Right. Here we go. All right, I was enjoying that too much. Change the camera. There we go. All right, I was enjoying that far too much. Love that song. Oh, we got it. We got a winner. We had a winner. I don't know. I can't remember what her name is now. She's somewhere up here. I saw it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on Gino's Spot tonight. He can't find the
The one he had up here. It's somewhere. There we go. Michelle Wilson Speeding. Michelle, you are the winner. Simple Minds, alive and kicking. That's right. We're all getting older, but we're all alive and kicking. Let's go. All right. Thank you to Fitch Leedes. And thank you to Amobia for the internet. All right. We'll see you next Saturday where we got Francois Teron, and we got the Frankie and the Misfits. Frankie and the Misfits all are going to be here. We're going to be talking to Francois all about his doing, what he's doing, his goings on in PE. Thank you very much for joining us. See you on Saturday. Thank you to Joe Parker. Thank you, Joe. I love you, man. Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.
Gino spot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.